Hey guys, Tom here from synthhacker.com, and in this tutorial for X Record Serum we're going to be looking at making an Alesso style vibrato lead. Really cool sound. I basically was trying to emulate the lead from Alesso's track Cool. It's like a really kind of nice, crisp, sharp vibrato lead. Typical in quite a lot of kind of like main room EDM tracks, like more commercial side of things. But you could also go a lot of directions with the sound, and there's also a lot of genres this could work in, like drum and bass or anything like that, really. And yeah, we're going to be making it completely from scratch and explaining everything that I'm going to do. There's quite a lot going on, so I might go through it a little bit quickly. But yeah, let's go ahead and initialize the patch. Just before we begin making it, I'll just mention that that sound is included in one of my Serum preset packs, which you can go check out over at synthhacker.com, or the link in the description below. There's Serum preset packs for different genres, or there's like an all-in-one collection as well that you guys can check out. This specific preset was included in my main room EDM preset pack, but it's also included in the Serum all-in-one pack as well that you guys can check out. So definitely go check that out over at synthhacker.com or in the link in the description below. And thanks in advance if you decide to purchase that. It really kind of helps the channel and helps support me. So but yeah, without further ado, let's begin making the sound completely from scratch. So we've got a completely blank patch here. What we're going to do is switch oscillator B on, so we've got both oscillators going. We're going to have one oscillator which is going to be the saw wave, and then we're going to have another which is also going to be a saw, but it's going to be this grittier, dirty saw. And I'm actually going to pitch both these oscillators down -1 octave. This is just because of the notes that I'm inputting, the MIDI notes that I'm inputting into Serum are like an octave above middle C. So that'll just depend on the MIDI notes that you're inputting, but just make sure that both these octaves are exactly the same. The next thing we're going to do is give each of these oscillators 7 voices of unison and bring the detune down a little bit. This is just going to help thicken up the sound a little bit, but because this isn't like a trance lead where you would typically have the voices like quite detuned, we're going to bring the detune down a little bit. It's just kind of more typical sound for like electro house and EDM and that kind of stuff. The next thing we're going to do is set up a vibrato on each of these oscillators. Now this is a little bit of a fiddly process because unfortunately within Serum there's no like dedicated vibrato control. There's a few ways you can do this. One that I usually use is just using a simple LFO, really subtle LFO. I'll just bring this down a little bit. And what we need to do is set this to trigger mode, so it's being triggered every time a new note is pressed. Then we're going to switch off the BPM and anchor options, and we're going to increase this to about 9 Hz. Anywhere between like 8 and 9 is completely fine. Then what we're going to do is increase this rise to 1.1 seconds. We're going to give it a little bit of delay so that vibrato only triggers on notes that are longer rather than just really short notes, which is a really cool effect. It kind of gives the illusion that you are like automating even though you're not. And we're also going to increase the smooth parameter just to make the LFO perform a bit smoother as well, as you can see by the tooltip there. Next, we're going to drag and drop it onto the coarse pitch for each of these oscillators, which is essentially the master pitch for each of these oscillators. What you need to make sure you do, though, however, is press excuse me, you need to press Alt and Shift and click to change the modulation type. I'm not sure what the equivalent is on Mac. You'll have to look that up or just figure it out. But yeah, you need to do that for both of these. Alt Shift click, and essentially you need to do this, otherwise when the LFO starts it'll be starting out of tune rather than starting in the middle. So we'll bring these down a little bit just to make sure it's quite subtle, and so far we've got this. So it's a bit too subtle at the minute, so I'm going to increase this parameter a little bit. There we go, somewhere around there is completely fine. Like I said, it is a little bit fiddly, but hopefully you can kind of figure that out. Next thing we're going to do is just switch the noise oscillator on. We're going to use the analog bright noise, and this is just going to help fill out the frequency range of the sound a little bit, something that I like to do on most leads. Then we're going to take the sustain a little bit down on the master envelope, not too far down actually, somewhere like this, and give it a little bit of release. And then we're going to set our filter up, so we're going to route everything through it, including the noise. We're just going to stick with a low pass 12 dB filter, and then we're going to set up a separate filter envelope to our amplitude envelope. We're going to make it linear, and then we are going to increase the release a little bit, and simply drag and drop this onto the filter cutoff. Something like that. So now we have this. We're going to bring down the release a little bit on the amplitude because we can hear the tail a little bit. So pretty close. We're going to dive into the effects section now and kind of polish the sound up a little bit. We're going to add the dimension expander effect, so we're not going to use the hyper unison effect, we'll just bring the mix down. And we're just going to keep the size where it is and increase the mix to about halfway. And as you can hear, that kind of gives the illusion that the sound is bigger than it is. Really, really cool effect. It's essentially like the same as the dimension expander in Massive. Then we're going to use some multiband compression to bring out some of the highs of the sound and make it cut through and mix a little bit more. Just turn down the master volume a bit as well. One thing you might be able to notice there, and sorry that was a little bit loud, is that although it's bringing out some of the highs of the sound and making it more crisp, it's also bringing out some of the noise that we don't want. So what we're going to do is just add an EQ and low pass that a little bit. Bring the Q down a little bit. Increase the frequency. So we're just kind of, sorry, not low pass, we're high passing the sound. And that's kind of got rid of that like rumbling effect. So that's pretty much the sound as it is. You can also optionally add some reverb, but I would probably recommend using an external reverb, which probably sounds a little bit better than the Serum's inbuilt one. It doesn't sound too bad, it sounds alright, so that might be something you want to add. And then just, if you are going to use Serum's reverb, make sure that you increase the low cut parameter as well. And I like to increase the high cut parameter just to kind of take some of the harshness out of the reverb as well. And that's pretty much the sound. Hopefully you got some use out of this tutorial. If you did, please subscribe to stay up to date with new tutorials, and please leave a like. It really helps support me and the channel. Again, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out synthhacker.com or click the link in the description below to check out my Serum preset packs. I really think you'll find them really, really useful. Tons of really cool presets on there that you can get inspired by. You know, you can use them in your productions, and you can also kind of reverse engineer them to see kind of how like a professional sound designer like myself can create these sounds, and you really help it really helped just develop your knowledge of how these types of sounds are created. So definitely go check that out at synthhacker.com or the link in the description. Again, please subscribe to the channel, really good way to support me. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to head off. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.